Do y'all even know what song that was? I don't even think they know. If I would have played DJ Mustard, y'all would have known who that was. That was Michael Jackson, Liberian Girl. That's for all the passport bros out there that keep messaging me. Welcome, TMG Live. Another great episode today. But this is the day that the Lord has made, so we will rejoice and be glad in it. You don't have to block us. We are both like, shout out to my wife and her best friend. That's just funny. I'm not going to block y'all, but I'm going to block. I'm leaving the group chat. Is that what y'all say? I'm leaving the group chat. Welcome. I'm your host. I'm the author. I am the creator. I am Glenn. How to Get Great Dating Outcomes in a Modern World, parts 1 and 2, available today on our website, tmgbookseries.com. If you have not, make sure that you go to our website. There you can connect with us on the core social: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and X. I'm about tired of all of these. We about to just start going directly from the website, because every time I look up and it's time for a show, there's a technical difficulty with connecting with one of the social. Because we didn't do this to get monetized and to get rich and start flexing. We did this to help y'all. We want y'all to get better outcomes, guys. We are actually tired of y'all. We don't want y'all to be single. We don't want y'all to be alone. We love y'all. We want y'all to be happy and healthy. We would love to introduce you to our friends from college. But we don't want any of that smoke that comes with it. Turn the background music on for you guys. But let's make sure you do that. As always, we're going to make sure, let's give y'all some word. Hallelujah. Y'all need it. I'm not showing that. I can't. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to give y'all a little bit of the word because y'all need it. So let's get started. Let's get live.
To agree with them, everybody. You can still
if you put your mouth.
You don't have to agree with them, everybody. You can still disagree and still love them the way that God would have you love them, which is why I believe this is what the church should be known for. In fact, my hope, my prayer is that the rumor and the reputation is, man, I don't know about those people out there at Connect. I don't know if I agree with them about everything, but every time I encounter them, I feel the love of God. You don't have to agree with them, everybody.
Fruit of the Spirit, live by the Spirit. Hey, Devin, let me find another clip for you. Shout out, go join my pastor and friend. That was the one that y'all liked. Unmasking the enemy. That was a good one.
Come on, keep your hands lifted and just express your gratitude to the shepherd who's everything you need. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing.
I lack nothing.
He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Come on, let the shepherd restore your soul today. Come on, keep your hands lifted.
Listen, maybe that was for me today, but I know it was for somebody else. But you've seen the thumbnail. You know what it's about. Today, quicker show, because we're going to talk about it. I've been having way too many conversations about modern men versus modern women, and there is no versus. This is not COVID where it's Dipset versus the Locks. There's no versus. You're in it together. If you're in a relationship or would like to be in a relationship, you have to understand being connected. I know, and what I'm going to tell the women is what modern men are looking for today. So why do we do this? Well, first, I wrote the books because I wanted people to learn from my own experiences. I went through my own heartbreak, 2 years of therapy, and then came back with a vengeance, and I had to relearn how to date and court my now wife. Because in a modern world, dating is different than when it was in the early 2000s, the early 90s, the early 80s, the late 70s, the early 60s. In our book series, How to Get Great Dating Outcomes in a Modern World, Part 1, we talk about how we got here, the changes in society, the structure. And then we go over the archetypes. So the archetypes, as a reminder to the audience in the back, is there are 6 versions of men and women in the dating market at any given time. Above the line is manhood and womanhood, where you qualify for a great relationship outcome. And the reason you're having poor outcomes is you are misaligned. You also don't know who you are, what you want, what you qualify for, and whether you qualify for know what they want from you. And then the third piece is you don't believe that your dating outcome is your fault. It's everybody else's fault. It's your mama's fault. It's the man's fault. It's the woman's fault. It's your baby daddy's fault. It's your kid's fault. It's your fault. 100%. This is the most freest time we have been in society with the most access to the most information instantly. It's not even just having the internet anymore. You now got AI. So you got all that you need. You want to understand the word of God? Open the Bible. If you don't understand it, open up AI. Help me understand what 2 Kings is all about. Give me a visualization. Excuses. What are excuses? Everybody who knows, who's in the Divine Nine or went to an HBCU, you know what excuses are. So the 6 types. So the first, above the line, would be modern men, modern women, traditional men and women, and then high value men and women. High value is less than 10% of any market. 100 people are in a room, less than 10 of them are high value. So deliver me from everybody online who has a platform and has 5,000 views talking about their high value. High value is a long-term earned status. It's not something that's just given because you make a certain dollar amount for 6 weeks. It is a 5 to 10 year period of earnings consistently with growth and development. It is a character trait. It is a community trait, and it is a usefulness trait. And out of everything, you're 100% as men of high value driven towards your purpose. You're only driven by purpose. You're not driven by outcome. You're not driven by fame, which is the fame component. You're driven by achieving your purpose. And the purpose of high value men is to make an impact on the world positively. That's why we say that the best outcome for any society is one man and one woman with long-term relationship, marriage, children, legacy as a result. That's above the line. Below the line is where y'all like to play. Male and female, gal and chick, city, or F, boys and girls. And then there's the 7th, which is boy and girl, which doesn't qualify for any type of relationship status because they're too immature. And some of you are like, yeah, I'm dating a boy now. No, you're dating some version of a man below the line. It's not a boy, because boys emotionally have no responsibility, no intuition, no understanding, no emotional intelligence. So ladies, the question is today, what is it that the modern man is looking for me? So let's just say for the archetype, we've identified the woman as a woman, and I am modern. What does modern mean? Modern means that I want 50-50. Deliver me from the channels that say that where women are saying, do I look like anything that I would ever go 50-50? You absolutely do look like you'll go 50-50 because you're modern. The key term that you hear from modern women is partner. They're looking for someone to grow with. They want to be in charge and they want to share in their responsibility. If you look at TV and movies today, the average woman that is our heroine is modern. She's looking to grow and develop. She is following her own purpose and her own path, and she's looking for someone to come alongside and partner. That is not a bad thing. Let me say it again, because in case you skip over it, or you just picked up a clip. Being a modern woman is not a bad thing. Being a modern woman and not knowing it and lying to yourself and everyone else is a bad thing. I got my own purpose. I got my own path. I need a partner. Modern women are willing to negotiate and will negotiate everything and renegotiate everything. That's just what they are. And modern men understand that. So modern women, what does the modern man that I want need? Let's start by saying what he doesn't need. And I should probably write this down for y'all. If we were at my church, we'd have a screen and there's a whole team to do that. And I ain't got that team today. So I'll tell you what he doesn't want. He doesn't want to argue. I'm not about to argue with you as a modern man about everything. If you want to have a discussion like adults, you can have a discussion with the modern man, ladies, modern women. This isn't for males and females. This isn't for city girls and city boys. This isn't for gals and guys. It's only for modern. Everybody else, y'all go back to the channel y'all were on where they were bashing and you supposed to be working and you at lunch and you're supposed to get back on the clock. Go back to that channel. Over here, we're talking about modern. Don't want to argue with you all day. doesn't have time because he is modern himself. He's working. He has a side hustle he is now converting into a business. He has responsibility within his community, in his church, in his family. He doesn't have time to sit up and argue with you about where you're going on vacation. He doesn't want to argue with you about spending and budget. He just doesn't. And we're talking about just getting to know and dating. So no, going in, I got a modern man, I'm a modern woman. He does not want to argue. I'm letting y'all write it down. That's why I stopped. He doesn't want to argue. He doesn't have time to argue. He has no interest in arguing. He has no energy. It's really simple. I'm not even going to make it hard. He doesn't want to live in a world of complaints. Every time you open your mouth, you're complaining about something. He doesn't want to hear it. He's got other stuff to worry about. And he's trying, he understands he wants to partner, but every time you talk, it's a complaint. So you want to argue about everything, and now you want to complain. Leave that below the line. That's female behavior, ladies. Males deal with that because males want to argue and males want to complain with you. Men above the line don't have time for complaints. They don't have time for arguing. Doesn't want a lack of accountability. You have to be willing to be accountable to your actions and your statements, your missteps, your deeds. Doesn't want someone who's always skirting blame. And I know this is really hard. This is the hardest thing once you become a modern woman and identify as a modern woman, is letting go of the lack of accountability you had as a city girl or a female. I'm sorry. But your man wants accountability. He does not want an unaccountable person. And the final thing is insufferable. He does not want someone that's insufferable. Everything just combines and is always a problem. You're never satisfied. He doesn't want a woman in his life that doesn't know how to be content with the things that she's earned and God has given her. So just let that sink in. It's what he doesn't want. What he will do, because I think that's the real reason that you tuned in. Well, what is he going to give me? Okay. Well, first of all, we say that if you're having the attitude of me, I, man or woman, women in particular in this discussion, stay single. That's why when I go on shows, I was on a show yesterday. It's like, nah, just stay single. What do you mean? It's too much about me. It's too much about I. There's no joint. There's no long term. You have to get outside of yourself in order to join someone and to get into the flow and to start getting down the road of life. Now, let me tell you also, so what men are not concerned about: money and job. Above the line, that should be solved and settled for. The only group of women who are not concerned about work and who won't bring up their work are going to be traditional women because they ain't working. It's not their job to work. That's their husband's job. That's their man's job. Your job is to go out and work. My job is to take care of you, the household, our children, and help making sure that we're on the right path. Education. But again, I think we miss a lot of it, and women spend a lot of time saying what things shouldn't be and can't be without knowing what the truths are. So that's just where we are. Modern women, you take it for what you want, but that's what men don't want. Now, when we start talking about what modern men do want, it actually doesn't change for the three. I know the last channel you were on, they told you that it did change. It actually doesn't. Pastor Freddie Haynes, 2003, broke it down in such a great way. He wants peace. Meaning he wants some peace. He wants his mind clear and free of burdens. All of the things that I just told you. Argumentative, unsufferable, lack of accountability, complaints. That creates a spirit of chaos in men. Men, not your males. Males like that. City boys like that. Men don't. So it's your job to keep his mind at peace. Then he wants, I've heard the term, he wants a peace. Now, we're talking about as Christian in the confines of marriage, even though I know none of us that did that, but wants a peace. Stop telling him about what you expected the peace offering. There it is. It should have been in the relationship. If you're over here with us as Christians, God created you with the peace. It's your job to serve up the peace. He will create the atmosphere for you to serve up the peace, but it's time for you to serve up that peace. And then the other P is just peace. Give him a piece of food. Can he get a piece of chicken? Can he get some rice? This ain't make me a sandwich because I said so. That's traditional living. This is, I'm making food for myself. I need to also make something that he's going to eat. I need to be concerned that he ate today. Ladies, let me just tell you this, married or unmarried. If you haven't asked your man what he ate today, everybody out there works asking him. Did you find yourself concerned that he even eat today? Just letting you know. Some peace, a piece, the peace. That's all that they want. I know you thought it was going to be deep, where men want some deep, intellectual, stimulating conversation. They don't want that. Just look at their three friends. Me and my three friends, we talk about wrestling. We talk about the Pacers. Talk about the NFL, NBA draft. It's easy. Simple conversations. TV shows we're watching. Marvel Cinematic Universe versus DCEU. Who's going to Comic-Con? Real simple stuff. What's going on at work? Okay, man. It's not deep. That's why y'all have each other. That's why y'all got your girlfriends. For those deep, stimulating, let's talk through and let me go through and talk myself around in circles. Now, I am not a proponent of men never speaking and talking. I have also said, ladies, and we'll do this next week to give you a preview, modern men, what do modern women want? And here's a very easy one because it just relates to what I said. You know how your man knows who was the first round draft pick in 1996 for his team, who won the NBA championship in 1999, and who was the finals MVP? Men, take that same learning and application of knowledge to your woman's day, especially a modern woman, because modern women have days. Modern women are constantly overthinking, overanalyze, overinvesting, overindexing. And so their days are long. They're longer than most days of any other group of women. So you got to know the characters. You got to know their powers. You got to know their weaknesses. You have to know their origin stories, and you have to understand the connectivity and the connection there. You need to know who the frenemy is in the office, because when you go up to the office, modern man, and bring flowers and have lunch, you got to know who you can have energy for and who you can't. Don't make the mistake that all of us have made and have energy for all of them. And we was like, I can't believe you did that. Oh, I forgot. Just my thoughts, people. Just my thoughts, people. There was a video that I had. There's a video that I had about that, you know, for the show, for TMG Live this summer. We've really been talking a lot about, male loneliness. And we talked a little bit about it last week on the 19th, why 80% of men are invisible in modern dating. So we'll continue this as we kind of, hold on, fair use, educational purposes. Turn the music down, and then we'll go from there. But let me know, modern men, am I off? The answer is no, because we're all modern. All right, 80% of men, as we talked about that for male loneliness, 80% of men feel invisible in modern dating. So we started it a little bit yesterday. The clips did really well. This is the Diary of a CEO. Yeah, he had Dane Dash on. But let's continue and talk about it a little bit.
But even look at the media.
Right.
What does the media tell a woman to do? He's out, but he didn't open your door. He's not nice to his parent. You walk right out on that man. Like, it's literally every piece of media is, you don't need him. You're a strong, independent woman. Pull the ripcord, you're out. And it is the basic kind of communication around this is, you are a strong, independent, powerful woman. That is wonderful. And quite frankly, you don't need the imperfect man. And
okay, so that goes to what we've talked about in part 2 of the book, where modern women in particular and city girls do this as well. They're trying to Frankenstein their man, their optimal man. So they take the things they've liked from one relationship to the next, and then when it doesn't line up on paper with the man that's in front of them, they're dissatisfied. And you support that with what he's saying about the societal norm. You don't need no man. I've talked about it here. If you look at a woman who's making $85,000 a year, living in a tier 2 market with no student loan debt and very little credit card debt, she doesn't need provision. What does she need? And what she's looking for truly is partnership. That's why you hear those type of women that have the highest standards. 85 to about 125 have the highest standards. Because if I'm at 85 to 125 and you're at 85 to 125, my expectation is you get to 250. So then I can stop doing all this. Otherwise, I'm going to keep doing it because that's the level of life that they've created for themselves. They can afford 2 trips a year with their girls. They can go to homecoming and ball out on the Airbnb. It's beast mode smooth. They can do hookah and crab legs if that's what they're into. 85 to 125 is livable with no student debt. Your rent $1,700 a month for a 2-bedroom. That's more than manageable. Then you meet a guy and he's making 83. You're kind of like, there's got to be something more. Although we look at the delusion calculator and there isn't. But these are the messages that our women are hearing. And I know it's tough to hear.
They're just not connecting. I read that on Tinder, a man of average attractiveness has to swipe right 200 times to get 1 coffee. And then 4 of those 5 coffees will ghost him. They will decide they don't want to meet him or they won't show up. That means a guy of average attractiveness has to swipe right 1,000 times to get 1 coffee. Now, what does that tell that guy? Women don't value me. Women make me feel rejected. And then they go online and they see these misogynists telling them it's not your fault. And these men become much more prone to misogynistic content, much more prone to nationalistic content, and blaming other people for the lack of economic opportunity. They start sequestering from society. I worry that we are literally evolving a new species of asexual, asocial male. And if a man by the age of 30 hasn't either lived with someone or married someone, there's a 1 in 3 chance he's going to have a substance abuse problem. In addition, it goes so much deeper than that, because if they don't develop the skills,
Fair use.
the reason romantic comedies are 2 hours and not 15 minutes is this shit is hard. Like, finding an attractive, intelligent woman, generally speaking, 75% of people who've been married longer than 30 years say in the beginning, one was much more interested than the other. And it was almost always the man. Women are much choosier. The basis of evolution is seed trying to get everywhere, men, and women deploying a much finer filter to select the strongest, smartest, and fastest speed. So men need an environment to demonstrate excellence. And you hear these women talk about it. He was kind. He was good at work. I liked the way he smelled. He was funny. Where do men demonstrate excellence? When they're not going to college, they're not going into an office because of remote work. Where do they have, they're not going to church, they're not going to temple. Where does a woman have the opportunity to fall in love other than these baseline metrics? And you were talking about, women say, you've seen these TikToks, over $100,000, that's not unreasonable, and over 6 feet, it's 2.2% of the male population.
Wow, that's the delusion calculator we talk about. 2.2% of the population is what the average woman on TikTok says. And that would be 100,000 different women on TikTok who said that. That is not hyperbole or an exaggeration. That is what is happening in the marketplace. So further cements in to what we're saying about male loneliness and its issues. And we say that a society with, to his point, asexual, antisocial men doesn't lead to a great outcome. I just love it.
So where do they fall in love? Where can a man demonstrate excellence?
Men have to demonstrate excellence in work. So what do we say here over at TMG? We say that 18 to 33, put your head down. Why is that? Because that is a 15-year period for you to develop, select, and develop a high-value skill. That high-value skill, men, can be first responder, law enforcement, military, trade, work. If I gave the option to a regional director of any restaurant chain or a franchisee or retail, I'm going to give you a man at 18 you can develop into the manager you need him to be by the age of 25. They would all raise their hand and say, where is he? I would take him today. I will make sure by the age of 30, that man is making close to $200,000 a year. When you say that out loud, that's not hyperbole, because every company is looking for talent, and the majority of us ain't talented. We're too lazy. So if you come in and between 18 to 33, commit yourself to a purpose. I know these are all bad words: commit, purpose. If you're consistent, if you show up to work, if you're supposed to be on your shift at 6 and you get there at 5:45 ready to go, and they ask you to clock in early, and every time you clock in early, they ask you to stay late, even though it's going to be on overtime. You're in 3 years, you're going to have outpaced your peers. If you go to college, make sure you're going to college for a high value skill. Don't get another degree in basket weaving. I hate general studies. For what? You were there just to party? You could have done that. Every major city or even small town has a college. You can just go and party with the people as a local. Go work at Amazon, go work at Zaxby's, go work at Chick-fil-A, and then go party with the people. My God, every trade organization here in the state of Tennessee is offering sign-on bonuses anywhere between $2,500 to $5,000. HVAC, electric, general contracting, drywall, painting, plumbing. They're begging people in general, but they really want men to come in and pick up the profession. And the owners and the companies are overpaying because they're flush with cash. Do you know how much it costs to replace an HVAC system? A condenser is $2,500 with labor. If your septic system in the rural area backs up, I got to rent a truck, I got to rent a drill, I got to suck everything out, I got to clean it out, I got to patch up the hole. That's at least a $25,000 job. If the sewer backs up in the home that a person purchased, it's going to be anywhere between 5 to 10 to get everything corrected if the problem's not with the city or the county. But everybody's running to jobs that they think are easy and safe. But you got all these jobs there. Listen, I ran wire. In the security industry, I was on trucks and I was awful at it, but I did it and I know how to do it. I can wire up a panel right now if I need to. Fire, access, TV, CCTV. But I can't get anybody to go take the jobs that my former employer has. They don't want to do it. So that's kind of where we are. Oh, my fan just turned off, guys. So my fan turned off, so that means it's the end. All right, so what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and stop it. I want to know what you think. Modern men, did I hit the nail on the head? Why is it lonely? Why do you feel lonely? Is sharing that content impactful? If it's not, and you want to learn more, have you purchased our book? Have you gone onto the website tmgbookseries.com and purchased part 1, part 2? Have you looked at this content? Have you clicked and subscribed? Are you getting value in the messaging that we're delivering and the content creators we work with? I will be on, when is that? I need to know when Angela's posting that. I just did a podcast yesterday, and was I our first host? What was the first guest? I talked about everything. I don't know when she hit record, but we were going. I was going. So I'll try to do a better job of where I'm going to be and when I'm going to be there. Meetups can happen, especially when I travel. I think that'll be good. But if you have not, make sure you go to our social media pages, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, and hit the notification bell, click and subscribe, hit a like on the video, leave a comment below, and let us know. I am your host. I am the author. I am the creator. I am Glenn. How to Get Great Dating Outcomes in a Modern World, Part 1 and 2. This has been TMG Live. Have a great rest of your day.